Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo. So excited to show you this new set that I just did on one of my favorite clients. I'm so excited too. These are money glass nails. I have been wanting to do these for a long time and just never considered suggesting it to a client. But the minute she said let's do it, I was down for it. So definitely stay tuned if you want to see how we got this done. So the client came in with this set. I will link it in the cards as per the usual. I'm just clipping them down. They were almond tip nails. I think she had these for about 2 or 3 sets and had been coming regularly to get them filled. So this was about 3.5 weeks when she came to get this new set, and she was kind of like, I'm done with the almond. I want to go back to square. And I was like, all right, let's go for it. So in an effort to just to save time, I just figured I would just start fresh with her. So you saw I clipped the sidewalls of those almond nails and they just snapped off due to the shape being accurate. And then we filed down and did a quick soak off. So she is for the most part there, and we're just getting started with the brand new set. I have seen people like change shape. They'll like use a form and like build up the acrylic. It's too much work, y'all. I just, reapplied and started fresh, but I have seen that and it's really cool and efficient. But for me, I was like, I don't got time for all of that. We're just going to start new. So like, I sprayed her down with some alcohol, and I'm just using this cuticle pusher to just push back the eponychium area of her skin to expose the dead cuticle there. After that, I'm going to go in with a diamond abrasion skiver bit, both in the forward and reverse direction, and just use it to kind of get up under that area so that we can scrape away any dead skin that's kind of stuck to the nail plate. We want to get rid of that cuticle to kind of help to prevent lifting so that the clients can enjoy their sets for as long as possible. I try to keep this bit really flat to the nail. You can see it's really, really parallel to the surface of the nail. I don't angle it up like I'm using a pen, because that's when you'll dig the tip into the nail. You get those rings of fire and it might hurt your client a little bit. And I try to use this at a very, very slow speed. So nothing crazy. This isn't aggressive or painful. Do be careful with these pointier bits. You might stab your client a little bit. I've done that, I'm sorry. But it's just something that I like to do. It just helps with the prep, and I feel like I'm getting good results from it. So yeah. Going in with my sanding band on my mandrel bit and just buffing the entire nail, removing just a fine layer of dust, and also going back in that cuticle area just to remove any dead skin that I might see there. Sometimes I will also use the mandrel bit to get rid of the any excess nail. I'll just file down the nail with it. It's the same abrasion as like an arbor band. It is an arbor band, as like an emery board. So I use it to kind of shape down the nails as well if they're a little jagged. Just, anything efficient. But yep, same thing. We're just buffing the nail so that we have a nice texture to remove any shine, so that we have good prep. And because this client grows rather thick cuticles and she is a fan of the prep process, I'm going in with this diamond abrasion. This is kind of like a cylinder bit, but it's rounded on the edges, and I'm basically using it on her skin. It is safe to use on the nail plate, so you will see me use the side of this bit on the actual nail plate as well, kind of like what we did with the sanding band. If I see any excess cuticle on the nail, I'm just going to use that as well, but mainly I'm focusing on the skin to kind of buff it smooth. The speed is a little bit higher here.
Yeah.
And it's time for tips. Just going in with these, I think they're 2XL square, maybe kind of coffin-y tips. They are relatively flat. I really like them, and they give good length. I got them on Amazon. They were not expensive. Everyone's selling them. Just get them wherever you want. But I'm always a fan of getting them for cheap if possible. I'm a new nail tech and don't have billions and trillions of dollars to spend on products. So I try to be strategic and just be a good shopper. You know, you always want to look for the deals. So that's what I like to do. But these tips are fantastic. I love them. And in terms of making sure that they fit, you want your tips to fit sidewall to sidewall. If they are too small, just go a size up, clip at the sides, and then they'll fit your client. And you want these tips to lay straight down the hand, not towards the fingertip. You can see her pointer finger dips down towards the bottom right of the screen, but I'm not going in that direction. I'm following the knuckles and going straight down. Same for this pinky. If I followed her actual fingertip, it would go down to the left. We don't want that. We want a straight visual appearance to these nails. So sometimes it's a little, I always explain to the client, like, all right, well, I'm working on this crooked finger. And I was like, you always say that, but I'd rather just have there be transparency so that they know what I'm doing. It might look different than what they might have had from another client. A nail tech. But I always try to, line my tips up straight. Now I'm just using one hand to kind of guide the other. I always clip my client's right hand first. I let them, adjust, feel if it feels good, look at it. And then once I get the okay, then I use it to line up and set the second hand. So I'm just doing that here with my straight edge clipper, clip, love it. And then we're gonna move on. Once done with the tip application and cutting, I like to go in and do a quick blend, sometimes with a file, but sometimes I will go back to the same sanding band that I used in my prep, just to file down the very smile line of that tip wherever I placed it. So it's a nice smooth transition. It doesn't matter all the time. I guess it depends on how you base your sets, but it's just something that I'm in the habit of doing. After that, I'll go in with my 80/80 grit hand file and just clean up the sidewalls and the free edge of the tips to make sure that they're nice and square like we want them to be. And it's prime time, so I am going in like I always do with my Mia Secret dehydrator. Love it. It does the job. It dries out the nail so that there's no interference with the adhesion between the nail and the acrylic that I'm about to place. Love it. Now I'm going in with the Valentino Super Bond. This has been working for me for recently, so I'm just going to stick with it for now. I'm going to go back to something that I used to do in all of my sets, and I'm going to lay down a clear acrylic layer. So I just stopped doing this out of habit. I think I was just kind of like, I don't really need to. But it's something that I did when I first started doing nails because It is actually really helpful. So many reasons. One gives you a base to build on so that when the clients come back, you can just file down to this clear layer. It also helps to protect your primer. I have some fidgety clients who like to scratch their hair or like put their hand in their bag when I'm not looking. And then when they give me their hand, there's dust all over that sticky primer that we already set on their nail. So doing this clear acrylic layer really fast kind of gives you a barrier so that if you have a fidgety client and this layer dries, you don't have to worry about further adhesion issues. And also it helps if you're not someone, or if you're someone who doesn't blend that smile line of your tip. This is a great option for you too, to kind of get a seamless base, a smooth base to build on, and not have to worry about that smile line giving like an indentation in your set. So many reasons. I'm doing it in this case because we're doing a glass set, right? So these tips are clear. We knew that we wanted the free edge of the set to be clear, and I knew that if I went right in on the the plastic tips with the items that we're encapsulating, it might be difficult to remove in the future when she comes back. So in an effort to kind of help myself out, I decided to go back and apply a clear acrylic layer. So I do this, as you can see, it's pretty much a wash of acrylic. It's not like I'm laying down acrylic like I normally would, building up structure. I'd use a super moist bead, so it's definitely not a mixed ratio bead. And I start at the cuticle. I pat appropriately, making sure that it fits sidewall to sidewall, that we're not touching the skin in any area. And then I just blend it down the entire length of the nail and tip. And this just literally is just a wash of acrylic down the length of the nail. It is still paper thin, as you can see. It is just to add a thin barrier of acrylic on top of that nail so that whatever we're going to apply, which is going to be quite a bit, has a barrier between the tip and that. Otherwise, when I go in to remove, I might compromise my tip and like snap it or file it too thin and then have to reapply it. Been there, done that. So this definitely helps with that. And the clear acrylic that I'm using is the OG. This is my Young Nails Core Clear. I love this acrylic. I feel like besides the Mia Secret clear, this is the first clear that I kind of got into my groove with in terms of being a new nail tech. I feel like it works so well. You do get that really beautiful crystal effect, and it's not too fast. Like the speed clear I feel like is really fast, and sometimes I like having time with my acrylic, so that's what I'm using. So to base this set, I'm using another fave of mine. This is Valentino's Dulce de Leche, and I am applying another thin wash of acrylic right at the cuticle, and I'm blending it down to clear. So like I mentioned, we wanted a glass tip for this money set, and I just thought it would be really gorgeous to kind of have a minimal look with the money and the foil being the focus. So in an effort to kind of hide her natural nail, I'm using Dulce de Leche. I think it's a gorgeous color. It's a little bit more brown tone than her natural nail bed color, but it looked fantastic underneath all the stuff that we're going to apply. So I'm starting around that free edge area, and this is not for building up structure. Honestly, it's such a watery wash. You can see that it's literally just to cover up her natural nail. Anytime you're doing glass, or me, I can say, anytime I'm doing glass nails, because you can do whatever you want. Anytime I do glass nails, I try to always cover the nail bed. I just think it's a little unsightly to have a completely clear nail with like things happening on top, and then you can see like the free edge just poking out the side. So just to give it an illusion, to clean it up and to make it really uniform. Also, if clients have like damage to their nail, like bruises or anything like that, you don't want that to be seen, just for like a really cool appearance. So that's what I'm using. As you can see, I'm literally just washing that color down and blending it to nothing. We want the tips of these nails to be clear. So when she mentioned that she wanted money nails, we sat and looked at like $1 and was like, okay, so what are the parts that we want to use? And we were both attracted really to like the filigree and the more detail-oriented parts of the money. Yes, we wanted the actual money portion on the nail, but the effect that we really liked, or the pieces of the dollar that we really liked, were the more filigree artsy pieces. So we did take some time to cut out lots and lots of those from one single dollar bill. And then the question was, how do I freaking attach this to the nail, right? Money is stiff. It's not very flexible in terms of like folding over the natural nail, the curve of the nail. So I decided to use something that I've been seeing on Instagram for quite a while, and it kind of helped us out, but I did need help from her. So you're definitely seeing that. So I go in with some base coat. Honestly, it's just some cheap base coat that I got from iGel Beauty. And I have a stamper that I got from a Young Nails. Actually, I got this from Amazon. And it's just a nail stamper. So like when you're using those stamp sets, you swipe the polish on, you stamp, you can clean and then stamp it onto the nail. I've been seeing a lot of people use this with little LED flashlights to kind of cure items that naturally don't curve onto a curved surface. And it worked really, really well. So as you can see, I'm clipping off the excess here. All I did was apply some base gel to the natural nail, not to the natural nail, to the nail that we have. Apply some on top of the item that we're placing, and then use the silicone to kind of press it around the nail. And I actually had my client help me out, and you can see how cute it is. So here's a round dollar portion of a dollar bill. I applied some gel around the edges. I'm going to press it and look through, and then I'm having her use the LED flashlight through the silicone bit while I'm pressing so that it curves around that nail. And it doesn't take very long. This was very tedious, the cutting, the shredding of the foil, the application of the money pieces. But as you can see, we were trying to be really creative with it and not just do typical money nails that you might have seen before. We wanted to give a hint of it, but not be so obvious with it. And I think it came out really, really great. Also with the nude to glass effect. So there you go. You saw me apply the gel. I'm pressing that silicone application stamper bit on around the nail, and she's just helping me out with the LED light. And by pressing the silicone bit around the nail, the items just naturally curve and solidify with the LED light. So definitely an awesome little hack. I've been seeing it all over Instagram, and it's really helpful, and you can probably use it with like sequins and other things that naturally don't curve to the nail. I do have excess pieces that are sticking up off the nail that might have been a little bit long, but I just use my little scissors to clip away any excess. No biggie there. Now it is time to add the gold foil. So this gold foil I've actually had for quite a while. It came in a set of different other types of gold foil. It came with like the standard gold. It came with like more of a bronzy, coppery gold. And then it came with this color that I actually for a long time didn't really like, because I was like, I don't like that it has flecks of green in this gold, but it was perfect for this set. So I shredded up the gold, and as you can see, it's got this gorgeous reflect of green in it. So it's actually green and gold foil that I'm applying all around every single item that we place. So every piece of the dollar that we place on the nail is going to have some gold and green foil added around it. And I just think that I don't know, this set I'm so excited about because it just thrilled us both. I think it was so visually appealing. You get all this gorgeous detail from the money, and there's nothing else going on the nail besides the gold. And I think the green and the gold look really, really nice together. So I'm just using my wet brush. I'm having trouble getting the foil pieces off of my table. I should have put them on a napkin, but no biggie. You can see I'm trying to not cover up that free edge because we want that glass tip, but just placing the foil all around these pieces. Here we are placing some gold foil around this single one nail. I think this ended up being our favorite nail just because it's really like on the nose with the money. It's just the one in the center of the nail, and then it's just really symmetrical. It's really pretty. So I tried to just ombre the foil as best as I could so that we got a lot of that glass tip effect. And like I'm always saying, in terms of like length, it's always important to just tell your clients that nails are always going to end up being shorter than you think they are. And when we were clipping down, she was really nervous about these being too long. But by the end, she was just kind of like, we could have went a little bit longer just so we have more of that glass effect at the tip. So definitely just, you know, let your clients know it is scary when you see those tips on the tips of your fingers. But after the set is done, it is actually not going to be as long as you think it is. So, you know, you can push them a little bit more. But I really, really loved this one finger. I think it came out great, and it just looked really, really cool and graphic. So in an effort to add just a little bit more to this set, I went in with another wet wash of clear acrylic, and I am adding some gold, bronze, and silver and clear caviar beads to the very edges of the gold foil of this set. Basically, I go to Michael's a lot, and every time I go to Michael's, I go to the glitter section. They have like the most amazing and interesting glitters that you would never think of, and I found this giant shaker of caviar beads, and I was like, what the hell? I'm buying these caviar beads online for like 10 bucks, and I get this huge container that I'll never finish in my life for like 3 bucks from Michael. So I poured out multiple colors. We've got some bronze, light gold, kind of like a clear AB, and some silver, and I mix it up in that small container, and I'm literally just adding them around the edges of the foil just to give a little bit more of a graphic and dynamic look to it. I just thought it was really cool to add inside, anything to add some more crap to encapsulate. I just love that, and I just think it added something a little bit extra special that you don't normally see when you see a money nail. So that's what we're doing, just adding a few beads of caviar in the same kind of gold and metal tones around the gold foil for something a little bit special. So guys, I thought it was really important to just give you a shot of these nails before I encapsulate. Look at how cool they are. They're just so freaking cool. The nude at the back of the nail looks so pretty. You get that glass effect. And the gold foil and the beads, I'm in love with the set. We were both in love. I just had to give you a close-up shot of what they looked like. We were so excited at this point, but you know what's coming next. It is time to clear cap. So I'm not going to talk you through it. It's the same application that I normally do. I'm just going to be clear capping all of the nails with my Young Nails Core Clear, building up for structure and making sure to fully encapsulate all of these items. If any of the paper pieces stick up off the nail, I'll just use my scissors really quickly to snip off the excess, but basically we're just clear capping these nails with Young Nails Core Clear. Now that the hard part is done, I am going in with my e-file to smooth out and give myself a preliminary shaping of the nail. I'm also going to debulk. These nails came out a little bit thicker than I planned, so using that medium carbide bit is also helpful. You can also use something like a 5-in-1 to kind of debulk if necessary, but I just wanted to make sure that I really encapsulated all of those items. So I am going to spend a little bit more time than normal filing just to make sure that the nails aren't super chunky and that they have the right type of structure. So thin at the cuticle, thicker in the middle, and then tapering to thin at the free edge. After that, I like to go in with my 80/80 grit hand file and just refine the shape. So at this point, we want a nice sharp square nail. I did a great job with the application and with the e-filing. So my hand filing is always the last step to just giving it the chef's kiss, you know what I mean, in terms of that final shape. I'm being careful not to wobble the nail. That is painful. When I do this up and down motion, I always squeeze really hard with my thumb, and on the bottom I have my ring finger and my pinky counter pressuring, so it kind of keeps the finger steady while I'm doing this aggressive up and down. But I find that, look at that, I feel like it gives me a really sharp, gorgeous square shape that we were both looking for in this case. After filing, I am going in with this buffing block, and we are just going to smooth out the surface of the nail, sometimes on the top and bottom for my client. Just cleaning up any dust or debris that might be on the nail. This is kind of where you're kind of going to get to see a little bit of the magic of this set. Just simple and clean. The magic is in the encapsulated money and gold foil and the beads. Love, but you're really going to get to see it when I apply that glossy top coat. So I'm going to go in with Gloss It from Not Polish, and I'm making sure to apply a nice generous coating. We want it to be super glassy, and to make sure we get that glassy effect with those clear tips, I'm going to paint the bottom as well with the Gloss It so that we get that ultimate shiny glass effect on these nails. If they were a little bit longer, it would be so luxe, just because you would get more of that glass tip, but you know, gotta honor my clients and their length choices, you know. I'm gonna have the client cure after cleaning my sidewalls for 60 seconds, and then this one is done. And check it out, these nails are so freaking cool, guys. Like, I couldn't believe that I did this set. I'm still a beginner nail tech. I'm going on 2 years, and I still sometimes surprise myself. These I'm so proud of. I think they're one of my favorite sets. They just look so cool and graphic and just simple. I love them. Tell me exactly how you feel about them. You might hate them, that's fine too. But like this if you like, subscribe for more, share my videos with all of your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.